Hello, Oscar.
Hello.
Do you know what we did somewhat recently?
No.
We played Saints Row the reboot?
The free boat.
The free boat? I was about to say 3, but it wasn't 3.
Yeah, we sure played Saints Row. What year is it? The 2022?
2, yes.
Yeah, a reboot of Saints Row.
What made me restart this recording to do this short, non-Star Wars related thing is the fact that when we played the game, you made it clear to me that Volition is a developer with a developer with a long history.
Yes, I did.
Being the makers of the original Descent.
Yes.
As I just made it clear, Volition don't exist anymore.
They're gone.
They are vaporized.
For better or worse.
Yes, I'll say for better.
Yes.
I'm sad you lost your job.
Yes.
But
I'm glad I don't have to play any more Saints Row.
Yes. We do have a history of playing. We have played Saints Row the Third.
Yes.
Before. An experience I think I would call middling, I guess. It's a game that is not very funny, doesn't play that well, but allows a certain degree of callousness in handling the experience, maybe. It almost feels like the game is okay that you don't like it and aren't taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah,
if the game isn't great.
It's obviously, a comedy game. It's supposed to be, it's not a big deal. They just do things in the game. They write things to be like, crazy thing happened. Wowza. Whatever. You're not supposed to take it seriously.
No. And you're not even supposed to take the gameplay seriously.
No.
At some point you can just buy invincibility and infinite ammo and no reloads and
it's a video games game.
Yeah. It's a parody of Grand Theft Auto, basically. For real. Saints Row 2 and Saints Row the 1th are also technically trying to be parodies of Grand Theft Auto, but the gameplay isn't. It's just sort of the setting. It's wouldn't it be fun if everyone was wacky and there was also a poop truck?
Yeah.
That's Saints Row 1 and 2. And the third was what if the entire idea of playing Grand Theft Auto was a joke, basically. It doesn't really land, necessarily. But the effort is at least interesting. Saints Row 2022 is a game that we had talked about it before, because it was almost impossible to not, at some level, skim the surface of both the fan backlash and the general discourse surrounding it. But having played the game somewhat extensively, I think it's interesting that all these, wokeist, right-wing talking points, I guess, they made the game for soy boys. It basically has, as compared to everything else in the game, such a marginal impact on the experience. The game could have been the exact same story, and I'll say the story sucks, and the characters suck.
Yes.
They're not well written, and it's not funny. But if the rest of the game was great, I'll take it back. It would have still sucked, but the rest of the game sucks so much that these things are completely irrelevant.
Yes, because we're no strangers to playing we can play a game, go in, expect it to be bad, but it will be good for, laughs quota or stuff like that. and that was kind of the thing with this, hey, we played Saints Row the Third back when. It was okay, I guess. We made our own fun, that sort of thing. Made our own fun characters, all that kind of stuff in co-op. So we played this, the story and the writing and the characters are gonna be like mega cringe, but we can laugh at it and we can make some cool fun characters that we can run around with, like in the third game. Kind of succeeded at that, but it wasn't enough. But with this game, the thing that that was supposed to be like, oh, we'll play the game and laugh at the story, it just became, the game is like 20 years old, and even though it was released 2 years ago, it just becomes like the story and writing characters are shit, and the gameplay is just the same game as Saints Row the Third but worse, and it's insane that this game was even made at all.
It's completely bonkers.
And it's especially insane because, of course, bad games are made. Games I don't like are made. Like that sort of thing. But, with this game, what makes this game stand out, to me, enough to, sit down and...
To exist.
Yeah, to sit down and talk to about it, is, as you pointed out a bit, the whole... regarding the fan backlash and the way the developers responded to the fan backlash, I don't really care about Saints Row.
No.
Who gives a shit about Saints Row? But I realize I know for a fact that a lot of people out there are like, I'm diehard Saints Row.
Yeah, I got my purple shirt on.
Yeah, exactly. I love purple. Mace Windu is my favorite character, that sort of thing. Because I remember the first thing we saw about this game was when we were hate watching this. World premiere game conference with, that guy who loves Hideo Kojima talking about games and so on.
Yes.
And it's we saw that and we're making jokes oh, I love Saints Row. When are we going to play the new Saints Row? Haha, doy. Stuff like that. And it's not I followed the development, but I saw, now and then because that trailer was, it was very, cringe writing, cringe everything. Yeah. It was obviously hey, this is Zoomer kids, you like this, check out all the spray cans and, Daft Punk helmets and whatever kids like.
Look, it's Donald Glover.
Exactly. And the fan backlash of this kind of thing, putting aside just, the veiled Nazi people and so on. The fan backlash was a lot of this isn't really Saints Row, is it? These characters don't look like Saints Row characters. They don't look like criminals. They don't look like etc. etc. And what's going on in this trailer? This is not my franchise, that sort of thing. And the developers responded with all you guys are a bunch of fucking morons. Don't at me on Twitter.
Yeah, don't buy our game then.
Yeah, don't buy it then. Our game is perfect. Everything is great about it. Have you played the game? How do you know it's shit if you haven't even played it? And started meme response, official channels of Volitions, social media accounts. They just punch down at people. It feels weird to say that now, but it's corporation punches down that guy on Twitter who says, hey, game I used to looks bad now. It's you look bad. You look like an idiot. Wow, here's a picture of you when you were 12 and fat I found on your social media. They did stuff like this, and it was surreal to watch. And a part of me started thinking a bit that based, maybe the game will be really cool. And then the game comes out, and it's just Saints Row the Third.
Exactly.
They didn't even make a new game. They just made new writing for the game, and the writing is terrible.
It is really funny that someone so vehemently, just like you said, it's almost wow. A developer goes to war for its game for once, and it's for this game.
Yes, it's for this game.
It's completely insane.
They must have known how bad the game was. I don't know. Maybe
they just had someone who was really, because technically you're kind of shit at your job, so maybe you just had poor social media people.
Yeah.
They're not the developers, but I would say there's almost zero noteworthy qualities to this game that are positive. There are noteworthy things that are negative, like the fact that the game looks like a Xbox 360 game, or that it plays like an Xbox 360 game.
Or the fact that you have dudes in your crib dancing to no music.
Yeah, exactly. The sound doesn't work. It is insane to me that they're a setting that we have never had in a open world game. The outskirts of some Texan town. There's nothing on the map.
Yeah.
Everything is a one-story building. There's no verticality. there is nothing to do in the open world, which is like, okay, fine, you couldn't do that much
like
shit.
You can do more in like Grand Theft Auto 3 in the open world than in this game.
Yeah, and there's like, maybe there's, in Grand Theft Auto 3, there's like, you can drive up a hill. There are no hills. There's nothing.
And everything is like extremely, like, at random places in the city, we've placed very inconspicuous ramps.
Yeah.
It's the entire city is this weird, over-designed playground that doesn't look like a real place where people live. And everyone who lives in this city is, a gang member, I guess. Like what's happening? How like you and I get that probably what they're thinking is like, it's extreme. It's everything. It's very video gamey. It doesn't work to have a game about committing crime, the weird power fantasy of that or whatever, when there's no real world to contrast it. Like there are no civilians.
There is also absolutely no reason for your characters to turn to crime. They are, we have a setup in which your character, you get to create a character, they don't exist.
No. The game is actually about
the four friends.
Like the four supporting characters.
Yeah. They have actual personalities, sort of. I guess they have attempts at personalities, like I'm the mechanic, I'm interested in this, I'm all about family, I am a DJ, I am all about technology, and also I'm a nerd, and whatever. Your character is, for stories setting, is my forte is killing. And which means you have no say in any decision, and they just send you out to do missions.
Send you to kill a million people. So
and maybe at like 1 or 2 points in the game, one of your friends will go, wow, did you know that they were so good at killing? And that's it. You're basically like a side character, a joke side character from an MCU movie.
Yeah.
Like Thor is gonna like look at the camera and go like,
I can't believe Karen was such a murder hobo.
That's your character.
Yeah.
You also don't have like in Saints Row the Third, they had like actual things that felt like they were considerations for the story in terms of co-op.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't get to see the other person's character. They don't exist in the co-op. But you do get to see your own character, which is fine, I think. But Saints Row the Third had stuff like, okay, pick your voice. You can pick to be a British male-sounding voice, or a British high-pitched female-sounding voice, or like a zombie, or blah, blah, blah. And they had different voices in this game, but they all had the exact same dialogue.
Yeah. Like at most, it will be... it barely, like once or twice in the time we played, it would be like my guy who was British would say bollocks, while your guy would say damn.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's exactly the same lines and character.
That is terrible.
I think that's bad.
Yeah, I think that's bad. The story setup is basically like you're a cop. You're like a private military corporation / cop, and you and your friends live in a giant apartment.
There's a church, actually.
No, you live in an apartment first.
Oh, yeah, you do. I forgot.
And I guess you're like broke, and you decide...
They have student loans.
You decide to turn to a life of crime for reasons, and then you do, and there are absolutely zero stakes in anything, which would be fine. But the gameplay isn't like... Like in Saints Row the Third, I feel like the sort of ramped up, hyper realistic game setting lended itself well to the sort of writing of scenarios they were doing. Like the Saints Row the Third, it opens with you robbing a bank and the people asking you for autographs because you're in that game, you're like celebrities.
Rockstar criminal.
Yeah. But in this game, it's like, okay, this game is almost tonally even like less serious.
Yes.
But
it becomes way more morbid in a way, but like to me, because of like the motivation behind why they're doing the thing they're doing in the game.
It's like you're supposed to relate to these characters that are like quirky MCU characters, but your actions are like you do a mission which is like in this mission we're stopping a convoy by murderizing 5 million Hispanic people.
Yeah.
That's the mission. And then next mission, it's like, oh, we're gonna have a family outing with the team. We're gonna do some spray painting.
It feels a bit like, there's something going around in the air right now about media literacy in this world. And like playing this game feels a bit like, it's a times 1 trillion version of, people who watch like Breaking Bad and they're like,
oh yeah, Walt is the good
guy. Walt is the good guy. Damn, Walt is a power fantasy for all the dads or whatever. I don't know. But when this is obviously not the case, and how it's like, why did he cook meth? He could have taken... I know you haven't watched Breaking Bad, so never mind. But it's like, why did he cook meth? He didn't have to. He could... One of his friends was offering him like $1 trillion at the start of the show to solve all his problems.
Could it be because he is a wretched person?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that. That's like that's part of the entire theme. Like this guy was evil from the start and all that sort of stuff. But in Saints Row, if you take like the similar thing in this new Saints Row, like, why do we have to start doing crime because I can't pay my student loans? And it's like, what do people do who can't pay their student loans and don't do crime? Oh well, I'll get a job. I'll I don't know. Yeah. I'll solve it somehow. That's life. But it's insane to me, like the reason why they start doing crime and the kind of crime they start doing. I know it's a comedy game, it's a parody. Why are you thinking about this? You can write this in a better way to make it, not so incredibly tonally ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because they're just mass murderers for no reason.
Yes. And the issue with that, like the big issue to me, the core of this problem, I'll say, is that the people who wrote this game, I think, want to create a group, a gang of people, if you will, like in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They are, they're callous, they are selfish, they are really funny idiots.
They forgot the part where things always go bad for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's very hard to play those characters and root for their success.
Yeah, when they just keep succeeding.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything goes
we
well.
We murdered everyone and now we're billionaires. Yeah!
Yeah.
While on Always Sunny, it's like, we didn't murder anyone and now we're even poorer. It's like, whoops.
And on top of that, they want to have an internal us versus them family thing. Like if this game were written like an Always Sunny thing, when our raver friend got kidnapped by the raver gang, our main character should have said, I'm not gonna go rescue that guy, fuck that guy. Wouldn't go like, oh my god, we gotta go
go save Dennis, you guys. But I don't like Dennis. I'm not gonna get Dennis. Isn't it like that sort of
fuck
thing?
Dennis, he's a bitch.
Yeah. But
instead it's like, it's family.
I love you guys too. That's because we're fucking awesome.
When you have like this moment, one of your characters is like a mechanic and she's working on this car the entire game, and the car features super heavily in all the promotional material. You never get in this car.
No, that's not your car.
No, it's not your car. She doesn't drive it either. It just sits like a prop. And then one mission is like, oh, it gets stolen, and a gang, because all of your characters obviously used to belong to different gangs.
Yeah.
So they can have clear identity as Raverman and Mechanic Girl, and, they steal her car and they throw it in a canyon. And she basically like cries and goes like, it was my madre's car, whatever. Like, it's so sad because that was her familial connection to her grandma.
A car.
It's a car, and we've already killed 200,000 people.
200 million grandmas.
Yeah. You drive over everyone's grandma going to a mission. And the character's like, nice, roadkill, 500 points. And you have like this part where your character is like consoling them. And then you go on a mission to like assault and destroy and kill every person who has ever been in any relation to the guy who pushed the car over a hill. And after that, you go, yeah,
we did it. A very normal response. And I mean, when I say something like that, and I go, oh, it's so normal. Well, people are so fucked. Like, of course, because it's a game, it's supposed to be but the writing does not support the implication or whatever that, look how horrible these guys are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you are clearly supposed to root for them.
Yeah.
You are clearly supposed to share with them as they do these things. And
do you recall the point in the game where you're sent to some sort of like murder island reality show, and where you kill a bunch of people? It's like an island, a spooky island.
In 2022?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where you got the great sword.
Where you got eyes. Maybe that's like 20% in the game, meaning you and your guys have canonically killed
100,000 people.
Like villages and villages of people. That's how I count people in villages.
Yes.
And when you get back, they're like, "Can you believe that that our boss? I don't know, why are you the boss anyway? That they kill people so well. That's kind of scary." And it's like, my guy, you, Mr. Computer Nerd, just killed 400 LARPers.
Like you hung out of a car window with a rocket launcher, blowing up, bystanders.
800 cars.
Yeah.
Infinite ammo rocket launcher.
There's a lot of sections like that in the game also where it's like, we have to get the car. But and the game designers are like, hey, remember how to make Grand Theft Auto missions? I don't know, let's make this mission from Grand Theft Auto 3 where you're being chased by cars that go like this and like that sort of thing. And you just, shoot rocket, 1 million rockets, blow up everyone, 5 billion cars dead, 1 trillion people dead.
Yeah.
And like, you're not doing this alone. It's like your guys are, they're helping. So I mean...
Yeah, but maybe they're just shooting in the air and pretending.
Yeah.
The game also doesn't really work. It's super buggy. As you said, the sound doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sometimes the game would just not let me get out of the car or save the game. It was just like, no, you don't have access to the menu anymore. So I would only get access to the menu when you press start and the game told me, your co-op partner is in the menu. Want to press A to join the menu?
Like, I mean, game bad, etc. But nothing like sours me more on an already bad game if like the co-op implementation is horrible.
Yeah. Okay, this isn't necessarily squarely at Saints Row 2022's feet. Other developers are to blame for this as well. But why the fuck do you make a game that is a follow-up to lots of people's like co-op games of the century? I don't agree that Saints Row 3 is like the co-opest game of all time, but it's for sure up there for a lot of people. And you don't allow us to play the game co-op from the get-go.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do we have to play like a 25-minute idiot sequence, bump into the open world, drive for half an hour, do 4 more cutscenes, and then we get to play co-op?
Yeah.
Why?
It's insane to me because there was nothing in the intro that couldn't have been done in co-op as well.
I would have been okay with it if only the intro thing would have.
But how am I supposed to know how to play the game if I don't play the intro?
Yeah, but they could even. I wouldn't have liked it, but it could even have had like, you both have to play the this is how the controls work tutorial. But the game continues to not let you play co-op. We both had to do that dumb fucking drive where you're on the phone with all your idiot friends and they're like, "Wow, your car sure is a beater car. We don't have any money."
Yeah, it's a baffling decision.
Pull up the score we gave this game because we have an actual score system.
You guys would love this.
I believe the channel is called Super
something. Yeah, nobody knows what the second word in that is. There are a lot of channels here. But that's not what this is about.
It has been scored in
here we go.
A non-biased system with all separate parts weighed equally to give it a 0 to 100 score.
All right. This is in Swedish, but I'll translate it. Let's see.
This is written as if we were 90s game publication journalists.
Yes. So, graphics, 30. So, on a 100 scale. Yeah. Graphics, 30. An Xbox 360 launch game, 20 years later. Sound, 10. There is sound, but not often. Great line. Playability, 40. Functioning controls, made better decades ago. Challenge, 10. The only challenge in the game is when it is not working. Total, 23. Saints Row reboots all the way back to the beginning.
There it is.
Can point out also that the characters who made for this game was... I made a vampire.
Yes.
And Lilo made... Zombie
Ed Stark.
Yeah, zombie Eddard Stark from hit book Game of Thrones. And that was really...
head reattached.
Yes, head reattached.
Brains left in the grave.